The Star.
Yeah, y'all already know. Seven the pan. That dude Biz on the beat. Yeah. We live in entertainment. Sound change. Crown the kings, homie. This is where it get ill. About to have the tip off live as a tip drill. From the court to the diamond, to the track, to the big skin flying round the field. Starting five forever, keeping it real. If it matters in the world of sports, blue jeans and long sleeves, they taking no shorts. Hot the depot, yes, these are the sports podcasts live as a pro's corpse. Biz market wave, the starting five goes off. No matter who you cheer for, emotions out the window, they analyzing with clear thoughts. They take it way deeper than the boys ever. No longer got any use for the four letters. The latest news, score stats and the view from the sideline. Ain't no guideline, it's just the truth. Yeah, no need to dig for a pardon line. It's always in season if people starting five. We going in on three, run the baseline, starting five. Get it, we got what you need. If the sports news you see, we don't waste time. We talking cause we live it. We got what you need. We going in on three, run the baseline, starting five. Get it, we got what you need. And y'all know me, seven sign, I'm the illest cat spit. I got what you need.
That goes out to the fucking New York City. I fucking hate you. It's the mayor, that DJ named Ace 5. That's it. I'm pissed off today. TJ, what's good with you?
We're good, man. Wish all you guys was in a better mood, but I'm good. You know, enjoying the last days of the fall.
What up? What's going on, y'all? What's up, everybody out there?
Do I want to go off now or do I want to save it for the end of the show? Because I'm
get it out your system. Get it out your system now, bro. You can't bottle it up. Just get it out now. You're not gonna remember. You're not gonna remember how you feel later.
I'm gonna remember it because I've been feeling like this shit since yesterday. It's been the talk of work all week. It's been the talk of the city all week. And a big fuck you goes out to Bill de Blasio. And a big fuck you is going to go out to probably the next future mayor, Eric Adams. These motherfuckers here, which again, I feel like a dickhead voting for Bill de Blasio now. I'm never voting again. And I'm saying this on camera. I'm saying this on video on our channel. Fuck you politicians who we put in position to do what we feel is right for us as a people. But then when the people are asking for a choice over their own body, you put them in the fucked up position of either take something that they don't want or affect their livelihood, which is their paycheck and their income. I'm a person who talks about consequences all the time. I get it. You want to go this way? Fine. Deal with the outcome on the other end. But when it gets to the point where you are affecting people's livelihoods, you're now affecting people's families. And we're talking about the vaccine. I'm talking about the vaccine. I'm talking about this shit. And I will full transparency. I fucking caved in, went against everything that I felt, and got the first shot today. I'm not happy about it. I'm not proud about it. Because up until now, I've never got a positive COVID test. They just gave us as employees the okay, well, if you're not going to get the vaccine, get tested every week. I was fine with that. And I was doing it as requested. On time, not playing games, going straight from work to the testing sites, and then going home as required. And to me, this is the type of fucking swan song you want to make as a piece of shit mayor that you came out to be. I know people are cool with this mandate shit out there. But again, I'm speaking from the standpoint of I've never had COVID. I've tested and never caught COVID. So why did I ever have to fear ever getting COVID to go and run and put this shit in my body that I did not want in my body? But now I got it in me because I know where my family stands and I know where I stand. I can't afford to miss a paycheck. If I had 10, 20 grand in the bank account right now, I would still be fighting on my morals and I would have not gotten the thing until this situation would have been solved because I would have had money to stay home. And they know that a lot of us don't. A lot of us do not. And to me, as politicians, this is the crooked way that they wanted to go about it, to fucking force our hands. One clap for you. You won against me. And I hope y'all feel good about that. And that's all I got to say on that. Fuck y'all. Fuck everybody. Fuck people who agree with it too. And especially I said fuck Eric Adams, and I'm not vote. He had my vote until I heard today that he wants to, as soon as they fast track this shit for kids 5 to 12 years old or 8 to 12 years old, he's going to mandate all children have to take this to be in school. Take this thing that I can still catch COVID with. I can still pass it to everybody in my family with, pre-existence and conditions or not. I can still pass this shit on. Everybody vaccinated can still pass this shit on. And now you're going to force it upon our children now to go to school. Fuck you. Nobody's ever getting my vote until there's a real candidate for the people for real. I get it. They're supposed to have public health as their concern, a part of their concerns and what they run with, what they think. And if YouTube pulls this down, fuck YouTube too. I really don't care right now. I really don't. That's how fuming I've been all day. But I get the fact of that. But if people don't feel the need to want to put something in their body that they don't want, this ain't Texas where they're telling people you can't get abortions. This ain't the fucking Middle East. This ain't this country or that any country. This ain't a communist country out here where they can dictate and people just go along with it. I'm done. I'm done. TJ, you could lead this show because you know where we're going.
Where you want to start with the NBA or NFL? Because people need to stop listening to us for picks at this point.
JP, we're going games of the week this week, and now we're including the NBA since the NBA season just started. We're going to include NBA basketball games. This week we'll do 3 basketball games, 2 football, and then we'll flip-flop them each week to where the next week it'll be 3 NFL games and 2 basketball games. So JP, we'll give the floor to you, man. Where do you want to go? You want to go football or basketball? What do you think is one of the games of the week for you for us to all watch?
Well, I haven't really looked at the NBA schedule for this week coming up. So let's go to football. Let's go to that.
Go ahead.
My pick this week, it's going to be an interesting game. Las Vegas Raiders versus your Philadelphia Eagles. I'm going to go with the Raiders. My Raiders, I'm going to go with them. But it won't surprise me if Philly goes in there and steals one today. It won't surprise me.
Well, we need it. We need it. And just to, I'll make my pick and get it out the way. I'm obviously going to oppose you, but we need the win. I know the Raiders need a little bit of a boost because of the shakeup that just went down.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just off GP, I'm going against you. I'm gonna stick with my Eagles. I think our defense might pull this one out.
I'm sticking with the Raiders. I'm going to stick with the Raiders, but I think it is going to be a close game, and it might come down to who has the last possession. If the Raiders win this game, they'll be 5-2, which is which is better than I expected. Better than I expected. I'm just waiting for see who new coach is going to be. Exactly. I wasn't sold on Gruden from the door. You know that 4 years he really ain't done shit.
Yeah. Well, again, you could put it as you could point the finger at the coach all you want. It's about the personnel that gets picked up to line up for you.
Yeah, and the drafting, some of the drafting I think was suspect too. I mean, they Ruggs seems like they hitting on Ruggs now. Ruggs is really starting to produce, but there's been a couple other picks where it was hit or miss as well.
True indeed.
We'll see, man. They got some talent on that team, man. So we'll see what's going to happen.
Cool. TJ, where do you pick on that game?
Damn, if I say one, it's going to be the opposite because this is what's been happening consistently for the past 3 weeks. I want the Raiders to win this game. I mean, as a team, they're better. They're more talented on paper than what Philly has, but Philly has been shown that they can get their shit together and pull out a win when they want to. So, I'm going with the Raiders. I mean, it's a home game for the Raiders, correct? They're playing in Vegas today.
Yep.
Yeah. You gotta. I'm going with the home team on this one. I just like the way they're set up. Maybe this will bring them closer together as a unit because the whole situation going down with Gruden and everything like that. They were like, "Oh, we got is us" type shit. So, that could be a rallying cry for the season, and they might run off 3 or 4 wins behind this. Regardless who's coaching. So we'll see. But I'm gonna take the Raiders. Watch Philly win by 2.
Yeah, I could dig that. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna take this to the NBA. And since JP's picking against since he's picking against my team, even though our teams play each other this week, our teams also play this Tuesday in the NBA. New York Knicks versus the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yes.
It's looking like it's in New York City. ESPN Radio is covering it as I'm looking at via the NBA website. 7:30 on TNT Tuesday. You know what? Hold on a second. I'm gonna save that. Y'all know that's the pick, but we're gonna save that for the 5th one because that's gonna lead into our other topic. So we're not gonna go no further on that. TJ,
right.
You pick.
Going against my New York Giants today. They should have no business winning this game today, even with a banged up Carolina team. There's a lot of turmoil on that team in terms of injuries, personnel issues. It's just a clusterfuck over there. I can't explain it any better than that. I expected more from this squad with the talent that they have. Daniel Jones, he's a game manager. He's not going to be the quarterback that we need. Saquon can't stay healthy. We got talented wide receivers, but nobody can get them the ball. And I damn sure don't know what happened to the defense this year. That was our calling card, our trump card coming into the season. Our defense was supposed to be, they were a top 10 defense last year. And I don't know, they're slunging down in the 30s somewhere. So it's Carolina probably by 14 after the Rams mauled them last week. I don't expect anything different this week. That's my pick.
I'm rocking with Carolina also, who is currently up right now 3-0 as we are your Sunday football watch along. JP, where are you at on this game?
I'm actually like the Giants. I don't think Carolina's that good. I don't think they're that good at all. So I'm actually going to go with the Giants on this one. Giants is a shit show though. Saquon, they say he can't stay. TJ said he can't stay healthy. Yeah, but also you don't have an offensive line blocking for him either, and he has no weapons around him really neither. So the quarterback is very, very suspect, which they should have never took it with the 6th pick anyway. That's part of the problem too. You don't have pieces around you. You can't do it all by yourself. Remember, they don't use the running backs the way they used to use them back in the day, where it was run left, run right, run up the middle. So, but
that's league wide.
Yeah, except unless you're Derrick Henry. But other than that, or Alvin Kamara, he's real good too. But other than that, I like the Giants, man, because Carolina really doesn't have that many offensive weapons. Sam Donald, I'm still not a believer in him, so I'm going to go with them.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed, JP. Go ahead.
So now this is what I'll do, because I already picked what I'm talking about, what we're going to talk about for the fifth one. We got 2 more games. We're going to pick NBA schedules. So TJ, because I have the schedule up. Pick
Okay.
a day, and I'll find the game. So Monday through Saturday. Pick a day, and I'll pick the game for us.
Who's playing tomorrow?
All right, so looking at Monday, we got. Let me get to it. I just scroll past. So Monday we got Celtics Hornets, Bucks Pacers, Pistons Hawks, Wizards Nets, Magic Heat, Bulls Raptors, Pelicans Timberwolves, Cavs Nuggets, Trailblazers Clippers.
That Celtics Pacers game should be interesting because
It's Celtics and Hornets.
I mean Hornets. My bad. Celtics Hornets. That game should be interesting because the Celtics, after they lost to the Knicks, they turned around and shit the bed against I forgot who they played just the other day, and they lost by like 10 points. Jaylen Brown came back down to earth. He shot like 7 of 18. Tatum still hasn't gotten started yet for the season. I think that game against the Knicks really took a lot out of them, and there's got to be a lot of questions as they're working with the new coach, and he's got a real highway or my way or the highway type mentality. And I don't know what they're doing with their defense. They do a lot of switching, which is causing a lot of mismatches, and they're getting killed on it right now. You can see that with the Knicks. Julius Randle was abusing people left and right last week in that game. So LaMelo Ball, Gordon Hayward is allegedly healthy again, so we'll see how long that lasts. They got enough. They got decent pieces. They'll be on the fringe for the playing tournament for this year, but everybody was expecting the Celtics to be better than what they are, and they haven't stepped that up yet. So I'm gonna say the Hornets in a close one.
I wanted to agree with that, just off the sheer factor of the Hornets. I think are probably a piece or two away missing. I think they're missing a piece or two, but they're going to be a very fun team to watch all year, just off the strength of LaMelo, JP. So I think I kind of agree with TJ, even though I want to go Boston, but I'm sticking with what TJ said. I think the Hornets could take that.
Yeah, I think so too. Boston right now, they're still like to try to get they got a new coach. And by the way, Nia Long is his girlfriend or wife or something. Geez, she was looking good at the Garden the other day. But anyway, I say I'm gonna go with Hornets too. I like Ball. Ball's gonna be a star, man. He's gonna be the best of a Ball because he has vision, pass, shoot, everything. And let me tell you about Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown is going to make that next move. He's ready to make that next move, man. Jaylen Brown is a star. He is a superstar.
But what you said about LaMelo, we've been saying that since we heard of them, right?
Yeah. Melo's gonna be a bad boy, man. Melo's gonna be a bad boy. I mean, he has a lot of potential, man. A lot of potential. Plus, he's like 6'7", 6'8", too. The Hornets gonna have a nice up and coming team. As a matter of fact, they're gonna make the playoffs this year. They're gonna be like the 8th seed. They might make the play-in game, but it won't surprise me if they make the 8th seed or something like that this year. They have a lot of young talent, man. Michael Jordan, he has moving in the right direction.
Finally.
Finally. He has a cornerstone franchise player. Terry Rozier's a nice player, so look forward to a fun game.
Cool. So now, JP, Pick a day in the week, and I'll read off those games, and you'll pick one.
I'm going to go with Saturday night.
So you got a game, or
Yes, indeed.
okay, go right
The
ahead with it.
Atlanta
Then.
Hawks at the Philadelphia 76ers. That is going to be interesting. Will that be the day? Because I think the Sixers are on a road trip. I know they're in OKC tonight. Nah, they're at home Thursday. And yeah, Thursday's the next game at home. But if Ben Simmons is out for a while, will they bring him back on Saturday? That's going to be interesting. That might be must-see TV. Will he be back before that, or will they bring him back for that game?
Ben Simmons not coming back for 2 months, bro.
We'll see. We'll see how long he's going to be out. We'll see.
He's getting paid. He's getting paid now. He's not coming back.
Still,
And
we'll
you see how y'all fucked the flow up, and still found a way to talk about the Sixers and Ben Simmons, because that was the next topic. But fuck it, I'm in such a I don't give a fuck mood now that it don't even matter anymore. It don't even matter. But nah, your Sixers are gonna take this L. Ben is not gonna be back right now. I love Trae Young. Another young, fun team to watch, even though Trae Young tried to make himself a mortal enemy against our Knicks. But yeah, that Atlanta team is another young, fun team to watch.
Fun team to watch.
I'll pick.
I'm taking the Sixers.
I'll pick Atlanta by 7.
I'm taking the Sixers by 8. I think they want to prove a point. I might just sit Joel for a couple of games because he's already injured, guys. So,
Mr. Glass
is out, he's done.
It's done.
It's done.
You're not winning shit.
Winning. If he's out, the Hawks are winning that game.
That's a game
over.
He
might be out tonight. I know he might be out tonight. So,
well, the Sixers' hopes of redoing anything rest on Joel's knees, on Joel's legs for the season.
We'll see.
Outside of that, they really don't have any credible talent. I mean, Tobias Harris is not going to be a piece that keeps them afloat like that. The East is really, really deep this year, and it's probably the most competitive. It's probably the most competitive division it's been since the 90s.
The Sixers, in my opinion, if they get their act together and everything together, they can do some things.
With what though? I mean,
got pieces. Tyrese Maxey, Tobias, Fiver's a solid player. They got pieces. If Ben comes around and gets his head right, Ben's going to do some stuff too.
I don't know, man. The book is out on Ben.
Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see.
All right.
We'll see what happens.
Well, you know what? Fuck y'all. I'm picking another game now because we talked about the Sixers enough. We already fucked up the pattern of which way I wanted to go. So I am going to go with the Wednesday night game of the Miami Heat versus the Brooklyn Nets. We already know what's going on with Kyrie. Shouts to Kyrie. Miami Heat looks to be a very, very formidable team this season. Like they easily could be anywhere between 3 and 6 when the playoffs is all said and done. But I'm going with Brooklyn in it's going to look like a beatdown at times, but I think Brooklyn by at least 7 to 10 for the win.
You're right. Miami's got a lot of. I mean, they got Bam, they got Jimmy. They got the new piece in your man from Toronto. Damn, why can't I remember his name?
Kyle
Lowry. Yes, Lowry. And they look like give Spoelstra credit. He gets his teams the mesh, man. He makes it work. Spoelstra is a great. He's a great coach. He's a great coach. He knows how to coach. And they got years. Yeah, they got
definitely gained my respect.
Yeah, with Harrow and Duncan Robinson. So they got a more than decent squad. They're almost set up like our Knicks here, with their bench, with the shooters they have. They have a big man in the middle that can score inside and outside with Bam. They got a wing player with Butler. You know, I'm not comparing RJ to Butler yet, but he's definitely coming into his own. And with the point guard situation with New York, where you got Walker and Rose, I mean, that's formidable talent right there. That is formidable talent right there. The young pieces of the Knicks with Toppin and quickly coming together and developing their game. And I don't know if any of y'all watched it, but they did small ball and they had Toppin and Julius playing together, and that became a very fast team. They get up and down the court very quickly when Toppin's in that lineup. And the resurgence of Mitchell Robinson, if he can stay healthy, that man put on some serious muscle in the off season. He's about 280 now, and he's just rounding into getting some conditioning back. So, you know,
Knicks still ain't shit. Y'all ain't doing a damn thing. Knicks ain't shit.
how can you say that and then talk shit about Philly going to do some things without Joel Embiid? Make that make sense, please.
Overall, Philly has better talent than New York.
Where? Tobias Harris? Nobody's scared of Tobias Harris.
I mean, you got some nice young pieces, but they still have to mature more. I think Toppin's going to be a very good player. You know, he's going to be. I think he could be an all-star player one day. You got some nice pieces there, of course, but it's going to be the same shit every year with y'all.
Oh, like Philly in the second round.
Y'all even got to the second round. When last time y'all even been to the second round?
JP, when is the last time y'all got out of the second round? With the talent you have, you should have made a finals by now. You should have made a finals by now. You should have made a finals by now, JP.
Can't remember. It's JV team. Knicks ain't shit. Go ahead. Anyway, next.
All right. So niggas ain't. So because niggas ain't listening, go ahead and pick the Knicks and Sixers game. Go ahead.
Okay, Sixers all the way. Bust their
ass. Knicks by 8.
Continue our win streak, which I can't remember the last time the Knicks beat the Sixers.
JP, they struggled to beat us last year, and we weren't even half as bad as
you. A W is a W. There's no such thing as moral victories. An L.
Nobody said anything about moral victories, JP. I said y'all struggled.
Struggle. Guess what?
Struggled.
No. Story ended. You lost. Story.
All right, we'll see. We'll come back to this next week after the game is played, and then we're gonna hear your crying ass excuses when they lose. All right. Who you got? Dan, I know you got the Knicks, but by how much? Close game, overtime. We win by 6.
I didn't pick that game, so I'm not going in on it. We're gonna move on to the Ben Simmons topic because y'all just took it where y'all wanted to. Sorry, I'm not mad at y'all like that. I'm just, y'all took it where you wanted to. So that's the way it's going. JP, you wanted to bring Ben Simmons up, and we all see what's going on with Ben. He finally came out and admitted that he has some mental health issues going on. Though we kind of felt that he's had that by way of his shooting and stuff over the years. I was listening to a podcast recently where they brought up something about Ben and his family and the family situation going on, where his sister alleged sexual abuse from their half brother. But then I found an article to back that situation up and find that the sister was actually lying about the situation. Also has lied about a lot of other situations that happened to her. And I can understand when you got family dramas going on, that can easily add to any kind of mental health issues or mental health situations, because you're worried about performing for your team. You're worried about everybody coming down on you for a shot you don't have, that you only have during like rec games in the summer. But you got all this other surrounding dramas to you that could take effect, or that could take a major toll on anybody's personality, their psyche, even play on the court, because we don't know where the person's mind could be. We come from the era of put all that shit to the side, get out on the court and just go. And that does take a certain level of mental toughness to do. It takes an extreme level of mental toughness to do. But not everybody has that. And I am now not mad at Ben Simmons for coming out and saying this, even though it's at the beginning of the league season. But just like how we look at domestic violence abuse victims, just like how we look at people with mental health issues, which we always been a show that has been big on mental health issues. And we look at these types of people when it takes a certain level of strength to come out to speak about what you feel may be wrong within you. So I am not mad at Ben, though, again, outsiders who don't give a fuck will say, yeah, the timing is fucked up. And I get it. But you never know when a person is right in their mind to want to confront said issues. And you have to allow those people the time and the timing to confront said issues. So, though I might still personally clown Ben Simmons for his shot that he only has in the summer and not during the season, I applaud him for finally stepping up and recognizing he has a problem. And let's all remember, it took me a long time to express my problem when I had it. So I know when it's time to come out to speak about something, or when something feels right to speak about, it takes time. So the piling on Ben Simmons, it might slow down for me. And I'll only say slow down because he's still a Philadelphia 76er. You know what I'm saying? And our instant rival between us, that kind of we have on the show just in general and just, over the decades. But I for right now, JP, I'm not gonna get on Ben Simmons no more. I'm gonna applaud the man for recognizing he feels he has a problem and he was able to have the strength to open up about it.
Yeah, if he is going through this, more power to him. More power to him, definitely. We'll see. We'll see what happens with Ben if this is the case. You never know. He does want to kind of leave. I don't know if he wants to leave Philly or not now after they had a meeting the other day and he met with the players. But if he's going through something, then maybe he should sit out for like a couple games or whatever he has to deal with. They come back and be the best version we ever seen him be. That's the way I feel about it. I think the reason why a lot of people are frustrated with Ben Simmons is because we all know the type of player he could be. If he wanted to, he easily could be top 5 player in the league. We have to see a player this size, 6'10", with the ball handling skills and the speed that he has. The only thing we always say is missing was a jump shot. And I don't expect him to average 30 points a game. I don't want him to average 30 points a game. But if he could have gave us 22, 9, and 8, the Sixers would be champions right now, as we say today. They would be NBA champions. And he's that type of player that they could potentially get you a championship. He is. He's a franchise level player if he's focused. Now, if all this family stuff is going on and stuff, it's understandable. It's definitely understandable. But because man, they going in on Ben. They're going to call him Mr. Softy. They wearing shirts with Mr. Softy t-shirts and stuff and everything. People are on Ben. But Ben also has to find out who he is. Who he is. He does. He might have some mental issues and stuff like that there. That's the case. I understand that. It's better to be safe than sorry, definitely. But he has to ask himself how mentally tough he is. Does he want it or not? Does he want to be great? Because Kobe Bryant said a couple months before he passed, he said Ben Simmons needs a jump shot. Because if he doesn't develop a jump shot, then he's going to regret that at the end of his career. He's absolutely right.
Right. And I mean, it was important to hear from you because, especially from via the podcast, you've been the biggest on this kid since he's been drafted, and you've always felt the potential of him for the longest. And I know, like, to be full transparent, just early this week or last week, you was like, "I'm done with Ben."
Right, exactly.
Until he mentioned the mental health issue thing,
Mental health,
which is
exactly. I
which
was
is
done.
valid.
Exactly. I was
Which is
done with it.
valid. It's valid it is valid and cool with me to change your opinion on it. I just did the same thing right here live on the show because I agree with we agree in that area where if you're speaking on mental health issues, TJ, again, timing is everything, but it's realistically it's up to the person and when do they feel comfortable to express said issues.
No doubt, no doubt. And excuse me, and if he's going through this like he says he is,
Mhm.
more power to him. I just want to bring up something Stephen A said on NBA Countdown earlier this week. He wasn't alleging that he wasn't going through these issues, but he was saying that because there's a clause in the contract stating that you have mental health, that you can still get paid. So in terms of Ben coming back to the team, apologizing for his actions earlier, and things of that nature, he wasn't getting paid while he was out. So, he brought up an interesting dynamic. He was saying, is this a way of getting around him getting paid versus him not getting paid and just sitting out for as long as he wants because he doesn't really want to play for the Sixers anymore? And the only way the Sixers are going to get anything for his trade value is Ben Simmons plays because um, right now nobody's giving up anything but a bag of chips for Ben Simmons if they tried to trade him. And Daryl Morey is willing to ride this out till the wheels fall off.
Mm-hmm.
They've been very staunch in their stance about what they want back for Ben Simmons, or he can just ride his contract out, you know, not playing for the Sixers. So I thought
Now,
that was an interesting. I thought that
you
was an
know,
interesting dynamic. But
you know
I'm
what
not
was
saying that he's not
interesting?
going through his issues though, because he definitely has issues.
You know what was interesting? Mike Patton said, General, shout outs to the General Mike Patton. He said that the Sixers, that they had a deal on the table with the Kings for Buddy Hield, De'Aaron Fox, and a first-round pick, allegedly for Ben Simmons. You out of your damn mind if you're not going for that. You're out
I
of your
was
mind.
I was gonna say, JP, with those names mentioned, that would take your Sixers over the top.
It would.
Potentially, yeah, it would make it. Defensively, are you giving up something? Yeah, but you're talking about two of the best shooters in the league, Hill and Curry. De'Aaron Fox is a borderline all-star who took his game to another level. Morey, I don't know what the hell you were thinking about. I'd have took that
Maury
game to
Maury
Rockets
wants
today.
your starting five and two bench players for Ben Simmons, and
He
nobody's giving
wanted,
him that.
he wanted
Nobody's giving him that.
Dame, he wanted Dame, or he wanted Bradley Beal. Getting those two would be just as good of a deal, if not better, because you give yourself more firepower
Well, yeah,
on the
yeah.
bench and everything.
Well, those are two instant all stars you're talking about there. But getting the other two young pieces, I think, would suffice just as well.
This is
Yeah,
well.
yeah. Maury's bugging though. He's definitely bugging because he's asking for the universe for Ben Simmons,
Right.
and that's where he shot himself in the foot at because nobody's taking his calls anymore. They don't want to
Well,
hear shit about what he's bringing to the table for Ben Simmons. He's literally getting laughed at.
but see, my problem is this here too. Like I've been saying as well. I don't blame Ben Simmons for all this. I put some of this on the Sixers as well. They have coddled and babied them since the time they've come to this team. So they baby him since they gave him the keys to everything. It's like you coming in as a teenager, you come into millions of dollars, we'll give you the keys and we're not going to say nothing. Do whatever you want. No. You got to make him work. You got to make him shoot the jump shots. Oh, he's working with his brother. No. You're working with this person here, and that's the way it's going to be. They coddle and baby him. So when you coddle and baby a person, the fire goes from a small fire to an inferno. And that's exactly what has happened. They made an inferno because they babied him.
Shout out to Jamal.
He said there are some crack rocks being shared amongst the Sixers front office. But I want to go back to.
I can't sit up here in front.
I want to go back to what Ed mentioned. He said, for what it's worth, Stephen A. is from that older generation that doesn't believe in mental health. And I agree, because to what TJ said in quoting what Stephen A. mentioned, which I heard a lot of that fire coming out of him this week when I was the day I was off watching First Take and watching all these other shows that he was on. Excuse me. And yeah, it sounded like that old school mentality of shut up and dribble, just get out there, push all that shit to the side. And I'm sorry, we're in a new world, we're in a new generation where you can't just do that. But the sentiment, in my opinion, is valid to think, is he doing that to save his check? It's valid, in my opinion. It's a valid thought. Is he doing it to save his check? But even still, with that being said, I just took that stupid ass COVID shot to save my check. I just took that shot to save my check, and only to save my check, and only to save my check. That's the only reason why I took it, is to save my check.
You think that could be said for him as well, to save, like you said, it could be said. It could be. We're not alleging anything, but it could be.
Exactly. But as soon as you mention mental health, everything else, in my opinion, falls to the wayside.
It's a very sensitive topic. It's a very sensitive topic, and you almost like on eggshells because you can't question. That's something you can't question, really. Somebody's state of thought.
Exactly.
I mean, you might try. They try to do it in court all the time. What was this person thinking? It's very hard to prove. It's very hard to prove. And once you walk down that path, there's no right or wrong in that situation. You're just doing what you got to do at that point, and you got to live with the consequences. Yeah. You literally have to live with the consequences at that point. So, I mean, I just think it was a great chess move. All things aside, you know what I'm saying? If he had one card to play, that was it right there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I'm not. But again, if he really is going through some shit, man,
hear me out.
Your problem, Ben. Work your problems out.
Hear me out. For all the shit he went through last year in the playoffs and everything, and then saying what he said over the summer, and then you see the videos of him waxing people at the Y and shit like that. You know how hard it would be to come back out on that floor, on your home floor, to face those fans after all that shit is said and done? That takes some real mental fortitude or some cojones to say you don't give a fuck about what nobody thinks about you. You know what I'm saying?
And TJ, but here's the thing, though. He does that every summer.
Right.
Ben Simmons is a basketball all-star, super all-star every summer. Every summer, with his abilities on the court, every summer he is that. But Jamal says folks knew and was saying he has a mental health issue before the building caught fire, though.
I was saying that I said that on this show. I said that on this show last year during the playoffs. I said it has to be a mental thing for him to not want to pull the trigger on the jump shot. Right. It has to be.
It's not like last year was the only year he wouldn't shoot. Of course,
right?
The YMCA champ. But I mean, just talking on Ben's game itself, like we've been known that he's a YMCA GOAT. You know what I'm saying? He's a street ball legend in these private gyms and workouts and shit like that. But on the court, it's a total different thing. And to be a professional athlete, it's a total different beast as a whole. as a whole, because forget just thinking about the game, you're thinking about outside influences as far as family, things like that are concerned. Then you have to compile on top of that business, who's trying to juice you for your money, all like there's so many things that are
even
on a person's head as a pro athlete that you got to defeat and
even
get
even
past just to perform.
even pro players, even other teams, they're going at you. They're daring you to shoot. They're looking at your glaring weakness and they're
Hmm.
putting that shit on blast.
Hmm.
Everybody's like, pack the paint, stay 3 feet off of Ben Simmons. Don't let him get below the foul line.
Right.
That's
Give
it.
him give him the three.
Right,
Give him the
right,
three.
right.
Make him shoot it.
As
That's what any good team, good defensive setup should do.
as Thelonious Monks likes to say, he with us when he shoots that J, because he knows that's an automatic rebound. Oh, you gonna shoot that three? He with us. You know what I'm saying? That's an automatic turnover.
Mhm.
So I mean, for them to put your weakness on blast in front of what 25, 15,000 people on a nightly basis, and announcers are talking about it, commentators are talking about it, everybody's talking about how you can't shoot. I can see that creeping into your head and saying, I can't shoot. I can shoot when there's 3 people in the gym and it's me going against my boys. Yeah, I pull that thing out all day, every day. But then when the lights come on, there's something off. So I do believe he has a mental issue with that, and that is very triggering.
Yeah. Ed says that's why I don't understand why clickbait writers want Brooklyn to bail out a division rival and trade Simmons for Kyrie. Fuck out of here. He
Word.
said he said numbnuts writers looking for clicks.
Indeed.
I get it.
Indeed.
I get it. I get it. But all in all though, JP, we wish for the best for this dude mentally first and foremost.
Yeah.
He's still young. He's still very young. People fail to realize this. This dude's early 20s. He's got a lot of time ahead of him. He's got a
Yeah.
huge future ahead of him.
We wish him the
Can
best.
he turn it around? Yes, he absolutely can turn it around. But like you said, Dan, it's got to be on him and when he's ready to do it. So
Yep, definitely. But to close this out, man, because we got to have something to bring my spirits up for a few minutes, talk about some good shit. I don't have no funny videos lined up this week. That's how frustrated I was. I was like, fuck, I need to, because I want to get into the habit of like we did last week. Everybody loved it. We opened up with something funny. We closed with something funny this week. Fuck that. We don't have something funny. I just didn't have nothing lined up. But these verses. Now I'm going back to you, JP, because you went out there on the ledge and said this last one was the best one thus far. Let's get into it. First of KRS-One versus Kane. I mean, this was the verses of our generation,
Yeah.
indeed,
of our era. I mean,
indeed.
JP, you were you and you, TJ, you guys were close to teenage, if not teenage. No, JP was definitely in his
Oh
teenage
yeah.
years.
Mm-hmm.
TJ, you were
Yeah, no,
close to, if not
no,
there.
I was definitely junior high and high school.
There you go.
Uh,
When
when
they
all this
were,
when they were at their peak, you know what I'm saying, or
yes,
coming up.
yes, yes, and I was there for all of it, but I was, when I was when KRS-One became number one to me was the return of the Boom Bap album. With that album alone was an album that every song on that album could have been a single,
Banger.
Banger, banger,
anytime and anywhere.
bangers.
But just around the table, and JP, I want to start with you.
Mm-hmm.
Your first thoughts on this versus, and if there was a winner, which way did you see it go?
First off, they both gave incredible shows as far as I'm concerned.
Facts.
They both did their damn thing. Um, KRS, I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, KRS-One is he had too much crowd participation." There's some people don't know what the hell they talking about. Talking about, oh, he used too much of the reggae style influence. First off, number one, let's get a couple of things straightened out. If you've ever been to a KRS-One show, that's what he does. Crowd participation the crowd finishes the lyrics. That's what the show is. He does that. It gets people hyped up and everything. KRS-One has the best look. I've been to the Jackson's Victory Tour when I was a kid. I saw Miles Davis at Penn's Landing one time with my pop and my mom and my little brother and them. KRS-One has the best show I ever been to, period. Out of all the shows I've been to over these decades, KRS-One is the best one because his show is like a workout. If you haven't worked out for a week, when you're done, you're going to be tired and ready, and you're going to feel like you went through a whole workout at a gym. That's number one. Number two, let's address this reggae style. Oh, KRS-One, you switch to reggae style. Did y'all ever hear my 9mm goes bang? Did you ever hear The Bridge Is Over? What the hell do you think that was? And that was back in 86. KRS-One was the first one to bring the dance hall reggae influence into hip hop.
No, he wasn't.
Who was it?
the person we call the father of this culture, which is Kool Herc, because one, being Jamaican, two, bringing the big loud sound system of dance hall
Into
is
hip-hop.
what developed hip hop. Is what developed hip hop. As Jamal said, hip hop comes from reggae. Folks need to learn. Hip hop comes from the sound, the big sound system sound. It comes from a Jamaican man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it also comes from James Brown as well, though.
Yes. The heartbeat comes from James Brown and the funky drummer. Yes, the heartbeat of hip hop comes from that. The stylings. Well, the rap music. It's not hip hop as the culture, but rap music comes from James Brown, comes from the funky drummer, comes from Jamaica, comes from we can argue all the time where it could come back from the days before James Brown and them. Mm-hmm. Because people were rapping before it was called rapping back in the day. Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to pause you on that real quick because that was it. that was it. But I'm with you. Keep going.
Yeah, as far as Kane goes, man, Kane did a great show. He did a great performance overall. The freestyles, everything like that there. But look, excuse me. Let's understand something. Chris told him, all right, y'all niggas run out of hits. Y'all running out of records. Like I say, Kane is a top 10 MC of all time, no doubt about it. But he is the Earl Campbell of hip hop. He had a little run. And then people want to sit there and say, oh, well, Kane's freestyle was freestyling. What the hell you think Chris was doing? Chris come off the dome. Some of that shit that Kane was doing was written. I'm not shitting on Kane. Kane's the man. But overall, I would give it an edge to Chris. Not by a large margin, but by a slight margin. I would give Chris the edge. And let's be honest, you saw the influence of Big Daddy Kane, like with Jay-Z, like the way Kane was rhyming. You could tell some of that was part of Jay too.
Well, yeah, I want to get into that before we get to TJ's first points of view, because you went into a lot of the talking points early. But before we get to TJ and on that, that was the thing with Kane. I agree I kept saying it. When Chris said Kane is running out of records, I was saying that in my head while watching before he even said that. Yeah. Because when it came for Kane's turn, he wasn't playing no new track. He was going off the dome with joints that we might have heard, we might not have heard. Mm-hmm. If y'all know what a real freestyle is, which freestyle just means free of style, where it can be a written over any old beat that you just never heard of, that just not has been recorded yet or put down on wax. Okay, so we got that definition out of the way. Kane was doing a lot of his freestyles while Chris barely cracked his catalog. And I mean, let's keep it real. You're supposed to do 20 in verses. It felt like they did more, like they gave them a lot of leeway, because We're talking about two of the greatest performers in rap history.
Yeah.
We're talking about two of the greatest performers in rap history. So for anybody to go into the show thinking otherwise, you were sadly mistaken if you thought otherwise. You were going to get, like, we knew off top, we were going to get a great show. We knew off top, you know, to be Chris, you and do the crowd participation part, trying to say, oh, he didn't keep up with his lyrics. And all. If he wanted to do that, that's what his thing was. He could have did that. But he is a performer. You know, he knows how to keep the crowd engaged, not just by your flow, not just by bringing out dancers. You get the crowd involved. That's how you pull them in. And KRS did that. KRS did that. And it was just the icing on the cake, the marker of, yeah, to me, it was like I got this, because you're running out of records. You're running out of records. And he was. But even with running out of records, Kane still put on like nobody
Fantastic
else
show.
on Versus could have done.
Exactly.
Nobody who's been on Versus could have done what he did, other than, and we're going to get into the rankings of them in a little bit again, because we've done this before. Beanie and Bounty could have done the same thing.
Yes, I was going to say that, but you beat me to it.
If you want to talk going off top and going, Beanie and Bounty could have done the same thing. Because I'm gonna take a word that I had agreed with from the homie Sousa Connect when he mentioned this whole Versus situation. You could kind of say is a bite off of what Premier and Pete Rock was doing.
Easily.
Where they were touring around with it, going back to back. And the ill thing they did was Pete was playing Preem's joints, Preem was playing Pete's joints in some spots.
Right.
And then let y'all have it. But all of this comes from the sound clash of dancehall. All of this comes from sound clash of dancehall. That's why I could say Beanie and Bounty could have did it, because I implore everybody, I get into my rabbit holes of doing it, please go back and watch the Sting clashes between Beanie, Bounty, Ninja Man, Merciless, Bounty versus Ninja and Merciless, and
dope shows.
My fucking goodness, yo.
Dope shows.
You want to see how you do a quote unquote Versus? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is how you do that shit.
Yeah.
But these cats did that shit in this show. So TJ, before we get into all the other things that go behind this, your points of view on the thing, on the night overall, and where did it go for you?
First of all, it was an amazing show. All right. This show took me back to, like you said, my teenage years. I was like a little kid all over again. I was giddy. I was laughing and shit, cracking jokes. Shit was incredible. Incredible. What the show boiled down to, one artist who continued rhyming throughout his career and one artist who had just completely stopped rhyming in his career. And that's where it boiled down to. In terms of putting out albums.
Okay. No, I was
in terms of putting out records. No, in terms of putting out new material and records, yes.
Because
Kane still performs. He still
Kane
performs
has
and
been
does shows.
killing every feature he's been on over the years.
Yes. And why haven't the people reach back to get this man on the track is beyond understanding for me, because the man, you saw it live. His breath control is still there. He's still a top notch. He can hang with anybody you want. Put him with anybody you want. The man is there. Solid.
Crazy.
Solid. And he ain't going to take no bars off. He don't care. He don't care. He will embarrass you on your own shit. You better bring your A game when Kane is in the building. You know what I'm saying? But for me, overall, and it's just because I'm a fan of the teacher and I came up, like I learned so much from this man when I came up. You know what I'm saying? Like he really influenced a whole generation. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Chris is phenomenal. And when people are complaining about he let the crowd spit his lyrics, if you ever been to a KRS One show, the whole audience is bar for bar with him, regardless if he does
Thank you.
a call and response. Regardless, you're going
Thank
to lose
you.
your voice at that show
Thank you.
because you know every word of every song that he's ever done. That was just classic. You cannot, you cannot do it. You can't help yourself. Nobody's sitting at a KRS One show standing there quiet like, word,
No, hey TJ,
that was nice. You
let me
can't
tell
do
you,
it.
let me
You
tell you
can't
all
do it.
something. Let me tell you all something real quick. I went to a KRS One show back in '94 at Rutgers, right? At Rutgers, New Brunswick. So, of course, everybody was hyped up. It was these girls that were sitting in the bleachers, mind you, about 5 of them, all dime pieces, sitting there. He stopped the show and was like, I'm gonna start rhyming. When I stopped rhyming at one part of the show, boo them chicks up in the stands. This is what he said. So he started going, da-da-da-da-da, and then he put the microphone out, boo, made them get up, and they came down and started being part of the show. That's what he did. He's like, oh, you're not going to sit down in my show. You're going to participate. They were sitting there trying to look all cute and everything. And he said, and he put them on blast. Boo them chicks right there while I'm rhyming after I get done rhyming. It was crazy.
You're not gonna go to a show and not spit my philosophy. You're not gonna go to a show and not spit I'm still number one. You're not doing it. You're not gonna do it. Love's Gonna Get You comes on, you're gonna lose your mind all over again like you never heard it before. It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. His energy, his output, like Dan said, it's a workout. It's a full workout. You better bring some light clothing and some soft shoes because you're gonna be standing up for most of the night, and you're gonna be your arms gonna be sore from doing this the whole night long.
Bring your water,
So
bring a towel. You better bring a towel
yeah,
with you too. Bring
yeah,
some water
yeah,
with you because
yeah,
you're going to be up.
yeah. You're gonna be up, and when the show's over, you're gonna be like, damn, I'm drained. I'm drained. But for me, overall, Chris, 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 Chris took it hands down. I mean, and that's like I said to everybody, it's no disrespect to Kane. He just lacked the material to hang with the teacher. I mean, if he took a hiatus and came back out and maybe reinvented himself a little bit more and came up with the times or something like that, he would have had more material to go at it with Chris. But man, I mean, that show was damn near flawless, except for the only part that bothered me, and I know you're gonna bring it up, was DJ Scratch showing out.
Thank you for leading into that. Shout out to Sarah in the comments questioning what I got cursed out for earlier today. Why is John the man behind the curtain like the great and powerful Oz? I like how she put that. Let's go right there. Let's go into some of the behind the verses talk when it comes to this one. They displayed obviously the rapping. If you want to say graffiti was displayed, look at KRS-One shirt.
Word.
They brought out the B-boys, where Chris brought out like the legends of legends, like the real, like if you are not of this culture and don't know who Pop Master Fable is, go back home, or if you're at home, hit the Googles and do some homework.
Word.
Kane brought out Crazy Legs, easy name to know, who is one of the absolute legends in this culture. But the DJ element, Scratch tried to squeeze it in when he could. And this is where you people, this show is streaming in HHDG as it does every week. You people in the group who did not understand what the fuck I was talking about when I said, and now this is my own personal thing. I don't say anybody else take this. I know Kid Capri cannot hang with Scratch.
No.
Everybody knows that.
Party rocking the crowd. I'll give it to Kid Capri. Right. He's a killer. That night, what Scratch was asking for was not asking for a party rocking segment. Let the DJs flex their ability. And when KRS shut that down with that, yo, nah, we're not doing that. To me, that was fucked up because you displayed the other elements. You displayed one element of the culture all night. You gave props to the B-boys. Y'all both gave props to the B-boys in that night to not let the DJ spotlight themselves. The DJ, the reason why this whole culture exists.
Kane did let Scratch live though on the Ain't No Half Steps a little bit.
A tiny spot because Scratch did his usual Friday the 13th, I'm gonna play Jason routine.
Right.
And Scratch was sloppy all night. Still better than me, but Scratch was sloppy all night.
On purpose though, Dan, because he knew Kid Capri couldn't hang with him.
But you know what?
Kid Capri couldn't hang with him.
Exactly. Hollis said it right there. He was trying to save Kid Capri from getting him exactly a bit of slaw.
Indeed. KRS-One saved his ass several times.
No DJ back. It was going to be no DJ back. Now, as you talk about Scratch, easily top 3 Mount Rushmore of DJs. Now, if Chris would have had like Jazzy Jeff against Scratch,
it wouldn't have been
a different ball game.
Jeff would have beat him, and it would have been fair. I look at those two as equals in many ways because both of them cats can rock a party with doing turntablist tricks in a set and still kill it. Jeff's music selection generally is always better, but there are turntablists out there that can wax both of them. There are turntablists out there that can wax.
I can't see nobody waxing Jazzy Jeff.
Because you don't follow the turntablist game as much as I have over the years. I can tell you that. I know that for a fact. There are turntablists that can, on a battle tip, can beat both of them. Now, with the combination of both, different story. That's where Jeff is a king, is because of the combination of both. But Jeff wasn't even in this battle to even be talking about him. You want a quick who? A quick who can beat Jazzy Jeff in a battle? The two people we hosted on Staten Island, Rob Swift and Missy Elliott.
Hell of a battle.
I'm just saying for who can beat them on the turntablist aspect of things. That's all.
Rob
Swift and Sinister. DJ Craze. DJ Craze is on the same level as both of them, even in rocking parties. A-Track. I'm just naming popular names. A-Track can beat him. Q-Bert can beat both of them with just scratching alone and put his beat juggles in scratches alone.
Q-Bert is a monster, yeah.
You know, and I'm only talking about people that are alive because if I were to just bring up the name Rock Raider, he can whoop both of them. You know what I'm saying? He can whoop both of them. But that's not the point of the conversation. The point that I'm making is that they should have allowed the DJs to flex their ability. They should have allowed it. You displayed the elements of the culture. You should have allowed it. And I'm going back to exactly what the homie Hollis said. I think he was trying to save Kid from getting embarrassed, which there was a point where you could say he tried to save him and Kid still went in with that scratch. And I felt
it was horrible. It was horrible. Then he started rhyming. Bro. You forget that part. Kid Capri started rhyming, and that was.
And Kid Capri can rap. It just wasn't there that night. It just wasn't there that night. Kid Capri can fucking rap. It just wasn't there that night. It really was.
It seems like KRS-One understood the assignment in terms of being a versus between him and Kane, and he wanted the best party DJ available for the type of. He wanted to keep the crowd hype, and that's what he did.
But
he wanted to keep the crowd hype, and that's what he did.
Scratch also, I believe, put it on his IG that they had it written in the show liner notes.
Yeah, he did, and Capri didn't get that, he said. Allegedly. But
all in all, despite that, the funniest fucking moment of the night. I mean, well, before I get to the funny moment, they brought people out that a lot of people wasn't expecting.
I know where you're going with that.
Greg, Greg Nice, Greg Nice. We've all seen Greg Nice. I've seen Nice's Spoon perform in Crotona Park one year. Killed it.
Oh,
I mean, and yeah, and Greg Nice looked like he didn't want to leave that stage at all.
Nope.
He didn't want to leave that stage at all. I was gonna say it before the night happened. I should have said, if Mad Lion comes out, KRS
It's
won
over.
hands down.
It's over.
And what happened? It wasn't over.
I know. I was going crazy.
KRS brought fucking Mad Lion out. I was super hyped. I love Mad Lion. Mad Lion, lesser known fact to y'all, his joint was one of the first records I ever bought, and it was the record Double Trouble with him and KRS-One.
Yeah, that was a bad joint.
They could have did that joint, but he let him do Shoot to Kill. Perfect.
The place went bananas. That place went bananas when Mad Lion came out, bro. And Mad Lion is still Mad Lion. Mad Lion is still Mad Lion. It was crazy.
He looked the same. He looked exactly the
same. Summer of '94, the summer of '94, we went to the Greek Fest. Me, Kev, John, all of us. That whole week, that whole summer, we played Take It Easy in the Whip. Like every single day we were going somewhere. That joint was banging in Kev's Whip.
That's one of the most phenomenal hooks. That's one of the most phenomenal hooks in hip hop, right there.
That
gotta
every
take it
day.
easy. That's joint. That shit makes you speed on the highway when you hear that. You know what I'm saying? That makes you drive reckless on the highway when you hear that song.
I know where you're going with the funniest part of the night.
Yeah. Well, and then KRS, when KRS brought Buckshot out, that was pretty interesting. He allowed him to do a joint. I thought that they could have did a joint off of their duo album. Once again,
that was tight.
KRS-One barely cracked the surface on what he could have done. Because the ill thing was when Kane brought out the Juice Crew, which, side note, TJ, you was there that night at Radio City with us, right?
Radio City when they all came out. That was the first time they ever performed it live.
Thank you for stealing the thunder. We got to see them. We got to see them live perform the symphony. Every single member of the Juice Crew who was on that record was there in person, and that was the first time they've ever done that. Ever. Rest in peace,
you want to see a place go wild when G-Rap came out?
Yo,
Radio City was rocking.
They would have to put me in a straight
when G-Rap came out.
If I would have been there, they would have to put me in a straight jacket.
Yo, I'm telling you, JP, it was nuts.
I went hype off of Ace. That was it. Like, Master Ace was the one that got me hype because y'all niggas need to stop sleeping on Ace, yo. Y'all niggas need to stop
sleeping on Ace.
Not us here. Not us here.
His catalog is retarded.
His catalog is fucking impeccable. It's impeccable. Like, there's nothing that you could say that this was a mid to down kind of nothing. Each album that man's ever put out could stand right next to each other. And then, too, besides another side note, one thing that makes me love Master Ace even more is he's an Eagles fan, and his high school football coach coached me on the department sanitation team, Coach Riley.
Oh, word?
And you hear his voice on the Falling Season album on one of the coach skits. That shit set me off like, yo, I couldn't fucking believe it. But let's finally get to we was all
this is stupid with the eyes.
we were all hyped to see DOS Effects come out. But when Son said, yo, we'll see y'all at our verses,
it got quiet.
I almost threw my phone crying, laughing.
Maybe he meant the Hit Squad versus. Maybe he meant that.
No.
Nah, no,
And
no,
Josh the
no.
Texans in Hit Squad?
Yeah, they were. They were part of it.
Were they?
Yeah.
I don't
They're like the
remember
Hit
Josh.
Squad reunion show
I think
too.
they were part of Def Squad, not Hip Squad.
Yeah.
They were down with
Yeah.
no. They were Def Squad with Eric Sermon.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay, yeah.
Eric
Yeah, I think
Sermon.
that's correct. Yeah, okay, yeah. You're right.
Eric Sermon got them out, but
Yeah. But they were at
Yeah,
the Hit
Death
Squad
Squad.
reunion show though. They did perform there though.
Yeah. I'm
With
sure
them.
they were.
But they're all basically crew. That's what I'm saying. They're all the same under the umbrella.
Yeah. But that Hit Squad was before the Death Squad shit. That was Death Squad
right,
came with the split of Eric and Parrish.
Okay.
right.
So they might have been on Parrish's side. Shout outs to Harold Lemons in the comments. He said yes, they are. Of which side though? But that's irrelevant to him saying, "See y'all at our verse."
Who are they versing? Who are they
They
versing
don't.
though?
We talked about Kane. They definitely. I mean, they could play album cuts and all that. They got 20 records, but do they have 20 records, 20 hits? No.
They
No.
might got 3 or 4 at the most.
Right, and it's no disrespect to them. This just was
Mm-mm.
one of the most funniest moments in Versus history, in my opinion.
Legend.
No disrespect at all. That just was absolutely hilarious. It absolutely was hilarious. But
People were questioning like, what when they coming? What verses? What verses are they
But-
gonna be doing? Like,
where we gotta get to though is the man that is in the background on the image for the promo of this episode is Busta Rhymes. He got shouted out several times. I believe they brought him up on stage, or as some show that he got brought up on stage.
it was
Him
the
and
night
Flip-
before.
It was the night before, right?
It was the night before.
He put down the gauntlet. Find me a worthy opponent. And to me, when you really, really think about Busta Rhymes, right? Certified legend. If you want to put him in your top 5, top whatever's, to me,
No arguments there.
he's in the legends bracket of he doesn't need to be quantified by a number. Excuse me. He doesn't need to be quantified by a number. Who can really touch this man when you're talking about putting together a night of hits like Busta Rhymes? Honestly, like a Jay-Z would have to come out to face Busta Rhymes. LL could.
Now I'm going in a different direction. Do you
People
think
wanna
Ghostface
say-
Killer? Do you think Ghostface Killer has enough catalog?
Catalog.
To
Oh,
definitely-
hell yeah, but but a lot of people aren't. See, we know how dope Ghost is, but the fringe fans, they wouldn't see it.
Ice Cube too.
Ice Cube
Ice
definitely would. Ice Cube definitely
But-
has it.
What we're talking
Snoop.
about though, Snoop also, but when we're talking about this versus thing and the format that it's in now, a very small handful,
Yes, because he
Can-
touches all 5 categories. You know what I'm saying?
a very small handful can deal with that type of stage performance.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
'Cause with
Energy.
With Split Star there, because Split Star would have to be there all night with him. Barely anybody could touch them two together. Now, the one that everybody keeps bringing up is Missy Elliott. Only, in my opinion, it's not a valid battle. It's not. Missy got hits for days, especially if she had the ability to play all the hits she wrote.
Word.
It's still not valid to Busta Rhymes, in my opinion. It's not a good matchup. It's not a fair matchup for Missy, in my opinion. No shades on women. It just wouldn't line up as a good matchup for me. To me, a Cube, LL, Jamal even says Rick Ross in the comments. I know. No, and Ross puts. I mean, I don't play his music, but Ross
But
puts out banger after banger, hit after hit, all the
like you
fucking
said,
time.
in terms of stage presence, you know what I'm
Hold on a
saying?
second. Ti,
Ross
hell no, hell
Ross
no
is
on
not
Ti.
doing it.
Yeah,
Who
no,
said Ti? No,
no.
no. Ti would get embarrassed.
Now
Ti,
this here,
Redman. There you go. That's it.
this here
Redman
Redman.
definitely.
Redman
could
could
match.
possibly match his energy for sure.
But again, this would be speaking to Jamal owned it. He said that was me. We know your name came with it. But Redman performance wise could fit it, could match it. But when it comes to those songs and them hits and things like that, more people can identify with Buster than Redman. We couldn't identify head to head with Redman. But the casual folks that go to the verses, that spend the $700-800 on a fucking ticket to get into these things, they might not get it. They might not get
Dude,
it.
Buster plays the intro to "Put Your Hands Where My Eyes Can See." Place is losing that shit, bro.
Yeah.
All you need is that bass line to come in, doo 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 doo,
Mm-hmm.
and it's people are losing it, losing it.
Yep. Yep. And Redman, in my opinion, like he did against Meth, he would have to dig into There's a Dark Side.
You have
He
to,
would have. He would have to.
have to, have to.
Even though,
And don't forget for Buster as well. Everything Remains Raw. That shit
Oh
come
yeah,
on
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Oh,
I mean, if you wanted to match albums, like Buster can just do the whole The Coming album. That was the soundtrack to my life when it came out. That was and if you really see, that's the other thing. Like even some of these cats who want to really see Buster, how many of y'all even dug the Genesis album, which was damn near a Jay Dilla album? Let him play truck. Yo, let him play truck music from Jay Dilla, that beat, in a stadium. Do you understand that shit would destroy windows in a stadium? Or, like if they put that in the Barclays, that would freaking crumble the Barclays just playing that beat alone. Just the sound and the octave.
We're not even getting into collabos. He gets on with MOP.
Forget it.
The place is getting burnt down.
Annie Up remix.
The place is getting burnt down.
Yo, the Lil Wayne joint. Oh no, the Chris Brown joint.
The joint with Janet Jackson, please. I mean, we could go on for days talking about Buster's catalog, yo.
But these two, I would agree. If we were trying to really match and find a worthy opponent, yeah, Cube could throw in "We Be Clubbing," but that shit was a banger. This shit was a banger still. We can look at it funny after the fact, but the shit was a banger when it came out. You gotta deal with America's Most Wanted album shit. You got to deal with against NWA shit that he can.
Yeah, Cube is deep.
But Cube is deep. You want to talk about LL and the man who coined the term GOAT? LL has it for any generation you want. Any generation.
Would LL agree to battle Buster though?
If the money is right, because we all know it's about this too. But LL versus Buster to me is, thank y'all for bringing that out. That's the valid opponent for Busta Rhymes. Like, again, because LL is another performer. LL has those quote unquote hits for the ladies, just like Buster did. LL has them street joints. LL, I mean, you could go with his Walk with the Panther album. You could go with all his Doing It, what does Buster truly have to match Doing It?
The Janet Jackson joint. That's the only thing.
That's an L in my opinion for Buster.
I don't know. Does Buster have something for Mama Said Knock You Out? I mean,
that's where Woo-Ha comes into effect or something early like that.
I mean, LL got joints. I mean, Jingling Baby. Love You Better. Even that's a smooth joint. You know what I'm saying? Like LL is it. Yeah, he's battle tested for sure.
Yep, that
Called
was
the Ice
Harold in
Cube's
the comments.
called Ice-T's baby mama out. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So
See, rock the bells.
Rock the Bells.
I need
There's
love.
Radio.
I'm bad.
I'm
Radio.
bad.
Like LL can face Buster with just 80s joints, the way these brothers is running down the catalog right now.
Yeah.
LL could face Buster with just 80s joints if he wanted to. As long as he
Yeah.
doesn't, if this were to come to fruition, as long as he doesn't do deepest, bluest, my head is like a shark's fin. But like, see, they bring it up. Round the Way Girl, Jack the Ripper.
Jack the
like,
Ripper. Ooh, yeah.
Come on, now I want to play
Nitro,
some.
jingling, all that stuff.
Now I want to
Yeah.
play some LL joints, some old joints. But to me, that would be the best LL. LL versus Buster is like the lone, like you really, because again, worthy opponent. If it ain't somebody like Jay-Z, it's got to be LL. That's it. I think we settled it here. Hopefully they see this. 4-3-2-1 verse. Let him bring out Cannabis. The crowd will go nuts. And let Cannabis come out with a notebook. That would be even hilarious. Just like he did. I got this whole book of rhymes here. Y'all don't want to hear me spit when he faced Disaster? That would be
Yeah, that was bad.
hilarious. I shot you. I need a beat. Like LL, we y'all just might have put up 20 joints right there.
Yeah, we did.
LL is a handful for everyone. Agreed. But forget ranking best verses and all of that. Who are some matchups y'all would like to see? Barring Jay-Z versus Nas, of course. We're bringing HHDG rules into this conversation. No more Jay-Z versus Nas conversation. You know what I'm saying? No more Jay-Z versus Nas conversation. But even that, I don't think is a fair matchup for Nas. I think Rakim would be a fair matchup for Nas, but that one could not be, in my opinion, could not be a stadium event. That one is made for the original format of verses. Shout outs to Kev Waters, who mentioned the same thing also. But Nas versus Rakim to me would be a great versus in an old school studio setting. Because we've seen Rakim on stage. And I'll leave that at that. JP, who do you think is a good matchup out there that could be put together? Like I like this one, even though it's kind of I like this one, EPMD versus Run DMC.
I
That
like
would be
that.
dope.
Yeah.
How about Tribe versus the Roots?
That would be dope.
That would be fire.
That would be dope.
Most hip hop purists, that would be
There would be a lot of incense burning and
candles and shit.
I got one more for you. How about the hieroglyphics against the Far Side?
First Far Side, no. I would maybe Hyro versus Freestyle Fellowship. Hyro versus
Far Side's first 3 albums were dope. They were two of them you could make for. I mean, the first one was a timeless classic. The other two were very, very good albums.
But for Hyro, we need spit. I would even go Hyro versus Jurassic 5. I love me some Jurassic 5. I do.
So I never listened to Jurassic 5 like that.
Charlie Tuna, man. Charlie Tuna was my guy in there. But Hyro versus Tribe would be fire. Hyro versus Native Tongues.
How about Wu-Tang versus Native Tongues?
No.
Why not?
No. That's two clashes of styles right there.
Wu-Tang was smash. Well, I can't say Wu-Tang was smash, but Native Tongues versus
because Native Tongues,
I just had it in my head.
Whole Tribe. You talk about Daylight. You talk about Latifah. You talk about all that. And with Wu, you talk about not only Wu, but Ghost, Ray, all, and they all had bangers. Beth, they all had them individually. That shit could go all night. That could be an all night.
I like this, Ed. Slayer versus Metallica. Fuck Metallica because they started this. They eliminated Napster, but that would be dope. Boot Camp versus Wu is a fair matchup. Boot Camp versus,
Yeah,
but that
Boot Camp had some hits. Yeah,
but that would be. But now here we go though.
yeah, I saw the other
Boot
one.
Camp, no, but hold on.
I saw the
Boot
other
Camp versus. Hold on, no, this would make sense. Tribe versus De La. Black Thought
Yes.
versus Black Thought
Yes.
versus Black Thought versus Kendrick makes 1,000% sense.
Dope.
But Thought don't have quote unquote singles like that.
We
So
can't,
it would
we
be
can't eliminate him with the Roots.
it would be that's what I'm saying. It would be the Roots versus Kendrick in that kind of respect. But back to Boot Camp versus Wu or Fuji's versus Native Tongues. No, I wouldn't give that because Fuji's in a versus can only really play the score, and then no, because you got Lauren's solo catalog, you got Wyclef's solo catalog. Prize does have a solo album. But it is what it is. Y'all can laugh, and I'm glad that you laughed at that. Laugh at Prize all you want. If it wasn't for Prize, there wouldn't be a Fugees.
Indeed.
If you do the history on them, Prize is the reason why that group was created. It would no Prize, no Fugees. But Boot Camp versus Wu-Tang, as long as you were putting together cats doing joints off of the Wu solo albums, and then is it going to be Boot Camp, aka well, no, they were technically Black Moon, so the whole Boot Camp. Bernadette Price coming out doing Sean Price records. Rock comes out.
So what about this?
Before the Fly, Skoshka, fucking Tech Steel. That would be a fair fight. That would be a fair fight. Leaders of the New
What
School.
about versus Farside?
No.
No.
Leaders of the New School don't have enough, unless they're just going off of Buster joints.
Okay, fair enough.
Lauren versus Bahamadia. Interesting.
Woo!
Interesting.
Ooh.
My opinion, Bahamadia could smoke Lauren on the mic, though Lauren is a legend, and there's no disrespect in saying it. But
Bahamadia versus Jean Grey. No.
Latifah versus Light.
That's an easy automatic one. Why not?
Yeah, I like
we're
that.
We're talking about let's remember. I mean, the tough thing we're going to levels of purists in this culture. You know what I'm saying? Like where we would love to see disabled planets, diggable planets. he got it right the second time. He got it, but we're riding with disabled planets.
That was a typing error, Jamal. That was a typing error.
Yeah. He corrected himself, but he said disabled planets versus Far Side. That might work. But those would be for us. Those types of verses would be for us.
Yeah, they're not a crowd joint.
Yeah, you're not gonna get the masses. Like I said, the casual fans that want to be out at these things. Now I can go because I got a fucking shot in New York City. But
don't make me choke on a cigar, saying.
See, and now I'm mad too because I had to miss Jamal's fucking event because I was being who I am. Some would call it stubborn. Me, I was sticking up for myself, but I digress. But yeah, like every one of them that we're talking about in here would be. JP mentioned the one that would really go over with the masses. I mean, bound down to two queens and two certified legends.
Legends.
is ideal. Dungeon Family battle, Outkast versus Goody Mob. Outkast wins it.
Yes.
Outkast wins it, but it would be a phenomenal show for the world. If Scarface were to go up against somebody,
Ooh.
Yes.
Scarface versus Cube.
That catalog is long.
Scarface versus Ice Cube makes sense to me.
Outkast, I see Outkast versus the Goody Mob. How about Outkast versus the Ghetto Boys?
No, because Ghetto Boys don't have enough records.
It'd be better if Outkast versus Tribe. Like, I know people would line up to see that.
Yes.
People would line up to see that.
And that
Outkast
makes
versus
sense.
Tribe.
That makes sense because Tribe influenced Outkast.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's kind of the same vein. Now this one. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. Rest in peace to P.
Mm-hmm.
Rest in peace, Prodigy. But who could see Mobb Deep? Mob that you want to deep? You want to talk about catalog that's deep? Mobb Deep. My goodness, that's a tough.
That's a tough one.
Mobb Deep and Outkast could match each other head for head.
Ooh.
Mobb Deep first, and it's a great it's a great clash of styles.
It's a clash of styles. But we want to penalize the native tongues versus the Wu. We got to do the same thing with that.
Penalizing in what way?
You said because it's different styles.
Okay, but native because all right. If we're looking at this thinking in wrestling terms, faction. Wu-Tang is a faction. Native Tongues is a faction. So if we were going to do that, then Wu has to bring out Shaheem. Wu's got to bring out they got to bring out Sons of Man. They got to bring out Killer Army. Sleep on Killer Army all you want. You know what I'm saying? I like
so Mobb Deep versus Wu.
Mobb Deep versus Wu. Mobb Deep versus Ray and Ghost would work because matching styles. And if we're talking style, a style war.
Boosie versus Lil Nas X. We'll get the Casper fans talking.
Jamal is digging deep in the crates. Ultra Mag versus that's a beyond purist one. That's a beyond purist one because after Ultra Mag, you could really only go off of Kool Keith other than what Said G might have wrote for people here and there. But you can really only go off of Kool Keith, and Kool Keith's catalog ain't even close to what. I mean, a lot of people can't identify with Kool Keith's catalog. I can. Shout out to the homie AP. He can for sure.
Oh, definitely.
Ultra Mag 7 on IG. Please go follow that. My man putting up dope work on IG. You know what I'm saying? But
who would you have Houdini go up against?
Run DMC.
But Houdini don't have. Houdini has. I mean, every one of their singles are certified hits, but do they have 20 joints? I mean, yeah. Again, you could go to the albums, but how many people are going to identify with the album joints? That's a JP era battle. You know what I'm saying? No shots at your age this time, but that's a JP era battle that Run DMC versus somebody newer, i.e. like 90s newer would make sense, but who? You know what I'm saying? Like, but who? Beatnuts would be, and Beatnuts Native Tongues. Beatnuts would be a good battle for a lot of people, but that goes back to us. You know what I'm saying?
Would you put the Alcoholics in a battle?
Alcoholics versus Beatnuts would be dope.
Would be dope.
Not on a versus level.
Ooh.
Not on a versus level.
So would you put them versus like Terror Squad?
Beatnuts?
No, Alcoholics.
Alcoholics? No. Wu versus Wu. Shout out to Ed. Wu versus Beasties is very interesting.
That would be crazy. That would be crazy
because the Beastie Boys do have it, but that's a complete clash of styles. Like and a clash of styles is cool. A clash of styles is cool.
It's different,
we got to pair the Beasties up with somebody right.
They could
That
go
would
against
be
Red DMC. Beastie Boys versus
yes,
Red DMC would be
yes.
epic.
Now they would lose just simply off of being, they're gonna look at people are gonna look at them as the white boys, and this is Run DMC we're talking about. But those two ran together at the same time. That's why it makes sense. Yo, all right, a clash of tours. Wu-Tang and Rage Against the Machine versus
The Hard Knock Life tour.
Hard Knock Life Tour wins. As much as I love Wu and Rage, as much as I love Wu and Rage, you're talking the Hard Knock Life Tour. You're talking Red Meth,
X.
Ja Rule, DMX, the whole fucking State Property, Jay-Z. That's not fair. You want people to identify with records? Wu versus Public Enemy.
Woo!
Mm.
Does Public Enemy have
Ooh.
20 joints?
Yes. Yes.
The whole
Certified hit.
Nation
Easy.
Ratings album.
Easy.
Yeah.
The,
Okay.
Fear of a Black Planet. You talking about Oh yeah, they got 20 joints.
We just
The
spoke to your
Apocalypse.
soul, JP. So of course you gonna say yes.
What'd you say?
I said that one spoke to your soul saying Public Enemy. So that you're gonna say yes.
Yo, PE, that would be a dude. That would be
Who battled PE in the verses though? Could the Roots match PE in the verses?
No,
Yeah.
energy wise, yes, it would be dope. Energy, no,
Okay.
because I mean, boom, like the Roots is pure boom bap in my opinion. Plus they have different sounds here and there too. But that Bomb Squad music on loudspeakers,
They're getting
fucking
drowned out.
retarded.
They're getting drowned out.
Retarded. But this versus thing started off with two beat makers / producers.
Indeed, he did.
Who could challenge Madlib versus Alchemist? That would be one for us, but that shit would be hard. I think ALC would win because more people could identify with Alchemist because of all of his more recent work. But to me, Madlib is the best alive. He took the best alive from Jay Dilla, in my opinion. Or
Madlib versus Just Blaze or Alchemist.
more Alchemist versus Just Blaze.
Yeah, that would be sick. I seen Just Blaze live. He's phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Dre versus Primo. That's like an obvious one.
Mm-hmm.
That's an obvious one, and sonically, that shit would sound amazing in an arena setting.
Yeah.
Maybe they need to do that. Like, get some of these beat makers that like have worked with everybody and set up, like you said, set up Alchemist versus Just Blaze, and it's like Alchemist and Friends versus Just Blaze and Friends, and then you could get Alchemist with fucking.
That'd be a 4-hour show. That'd be 4
And
hours.
I'd be there for it, yo. He could bring out everybody, man. Freaking from Odd Future to freaking Action Bronson to fucking Mayhem Loren to freaking Griselda. Like he could bring out a bunch of killers, but then Just Blaze too can bring out Rockefeller artists, Dipset artists. He could bring out tons of people also. Like that would be ill. Like something like that would be dope. But on the dance hall scene, I want to go. I mean, if Vibes Cartel was out of jail, him and what's the name that was going against each other, Gully versus Gaza beef, would be amazing too. Like have fucking Vibes versus I can't. Why am I?
So if you want to go reggae, I would do Buju versus Capleton.
Would be insane.
Buju versus Capleton.
With Sarah and the Movado. Thank you. I knew it started with an M. Thank you. Buju versus Beanie would be insane, but Buju versus Capleton is the one right there. If Sarah's still watching, she knows, and she is Buju all day for her. Buju versus Sizzler. There's Sarah. She said Buju versus Sizzler or Sixla, Sizzla. But yeah, I mean, I know Sarah's taking Buju over everybody, but Buju versus Sizzler would work.
Yeah.
Buju versus Sizzler will work for sure. Or bring out
Elephant Man versus Beanie. Elephant Man versus Beanie, bro. Come
You
on.
want to talk energy?
You want to the energy god, is he likes to call himself.
Or
the energy god.
I can't say Patrick because Patrick don't have that many hits, but Lady Saw versus anybody.
Ooh.
Lady Saw, like that. There's your Busta Rhymes and dance hall right there. Lady Saw versus anybody. Super Cat Sean Paul.
Super Cat versus Shaba.
A Super Cat versus Shaba works.
Wow.
Shaggy versus Sean Paul. That's for the pop crowd. It could work.
It definitely works.
Everybody, your grandma could identify with them. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know if y'all agree with that statement I just made, and we'll end on that one. Lady Saw is the Busta Rhymes of dance hall. Who can really see Lady Saw?
I don't know. Elephant Man has that same type of energy.
But Lady Saw is different, yo.
She is different. She is different. I'm not going to knock you. I'm not going to argue with that.
That's the Jamal agrees. Lady Saw too sharp for everyone. Whew. Please give us another Clash versus. Give us that again.
Yeah.
Or give us a Beanie. Do it like a Sting, man. Bring out again. Merciless versus Ninja Man. Merciless versus Ninja Man night.
People need to see that.
Bounty Again Part 2. Like,
people need to see that
without the cops knocking on the door. Oh man, I needed this conversation, y'all. This was dope, y'all. Y'all know what to do. JP.
Oh man, shout outs, of course, to you, the mayor. Shout outs to TJ. Great show, you all. Like this versus thing was man, we can still go on about it.
Ed. Absolutely. Absolutely. People who know me know how I feel about Tego Calderon. Don Omar.
Daddy Yankee should be in there too, somewhere.
Perfect matchup.
Gasolina.
Don Omar versus Tego, perfect. Nicky Jam versus Daddy Yankee. These two used to run like this, had their discrepancies. Perfect matchups. Send that shit to Swizz and Tim right now.
Please do.
Yes.
Please do.
Oh,
that place should be on fire.
Yeah, go ahead, JP. I didn't want to cut you. My bad.
Shout out to all the listeners out there as well, and those who support us. Thank you.
El General, I don't know. Boom, boom, mommy.
Yo, this was dope. This was really dope, and you got the juices flowing for some really dope versus battles. Like they're at the tip of the iceberg with this thing. You can go deep in terms of genres and music catalogs and things of that nature. So this was definitely a dope conversation. Shout out to everybody in the comments today participating. Shout out to you, JP. Shout out to you, Mr. Mayor. On a solemn day for you, but I got your back, kid. I'm here with you. Another dope show.
Vax just like me now. Fuck you.
Vax way before you even thought it was even cool. So
I still don't think it's cool.
But yeah, this was another dope convo. We should have probably got some more people on the show for this one. But this was dope. This was dope. Shout out to everybody.
For real. Big ups to everybody in the comments. This was live. I'm glad I snapped out of a funk, but I'm just gonna end it like this. Besides the shout outs, y'all know where to go for everything. Fuck you, New York City, and all you politicians.
Peace to Disposable Planets.
Disposable Planet.